I am Stan Neff.
All right. Well, I just want to thank you for doing this, Stan, and I really appreciate your heart for the Lord. And it's been neat to see you guys as a family. Been, you and Beverly coming here, and um, glad that you're a deacon now. So, just kind of wanted to hear some of your backstory. And the first question I'll have for you is, what was your childhood like growing up?
You know. Well, I had a fairly normal childhood for the 50s and 60s, and I had a loving family and five siblings, so I think busy there.
Yeah.
Uh, thing that mentioned we didn't have a lot of electronics in my life, but we had backyards
Yeah.
and cats.
So you didn't have many
Busy.
toys to play with, or electronic toys, right?
Electronics, Atari
Yeah.
and Nintendo. No, we didn't have that. Tell people we had cats and we had street lights,
Yeah.
and I was never bored.
Yeah. So were you guys put out like, hey, it's time to go play, or you guys just loved doing that?
Yeah, we just went out and it was just a routine. It was time to go.
Yeah.
You go home from school and
Now, did you live in a neighborhood that had a lot of friends to hang out with and play with, or did you play with your siblings a lot? Or
not my siblings. Actually, we were spread apart, than older and younger than me. But there was 12 or 15 kids my age, children my age, neighborhood, and uh, big backyards. And so it wasn't hard to find things to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you guys like to play sports, like football, or did you guys, what kind of games did you play growing up?
Yeah. A lot of kickball, a lot of basketball.
Okay.
Yeah. And catch me if you can type of games. You get seek, hide and seek, and
Yeah.
it's just running the neighborhood.
Yeah. Now I heard that and what kind of or how was it growing up? Did you go to church or
Okay.
you know?
Yeah, in early childhood, we went to Church of God was close, and that's where we attended for my early childhood up to my mid-teens. And that Church of God had a big influence on me. There's a couple folks there that I remember very well. As Sunday school teacher that I had for several years, big influence on my life. Alice Burns. She was a mother, of one of my best friends. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. What were some of the lessons that she taught you, or some of the things that stood out? Was it?
Well, she big thing. She was Irish, and I never will forget that. And um, she just loved people. She learned that to teach us how to maybe forgive and forget, but just to love people and accept them,
Yeah.
accepting them.
What
That
an
was a big
important
thing.
lesson to teach. To teach people how to care for others. So you felt cared by her, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. She would. She was like another mother. She took care of uh, any needs, and she was always taking care of neighbors and thinking of them and visiting them. So yeah, she was a big influence.
Yeah. And you said a few years, or what?
Yeah, she was. She kind of grew. Her son was my age. Okay, so we
So she could graduate.
we grew up together. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's neat.
yeah.
So you had her for many years.
Yeah, I had her
Probably.
for several years. Yeah, not only as a Sunday school teacher, but as a mother away from mother type of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Well, it's important to have people like that in your
Yes,
life
indeed.
to really invest in you. Like they say, what does it say? It takes a village or something
Yes.
to raise people.
Mhm.
Not just one
Absolutely.
person. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So were your parents always, believing Christians, or?
They were believing Christians, but I'll tell you, they didn't go to church. They were uh, absolutely saints. They followed everything, but from their age, they just didn't want to go to church. But they made sure all of All of the kids did.
Oh, they sent you
They
guys to
sent us
church.
to go. Yeah. Always had, we were on. She always had our clothes ready and push us out the door, and uh,
Yeah.
she was a big teacher in our lives too.
When did your faith become, your faith, in Christ? Was that a young age, or were you a teenager, or when it became a part of you and who you were?
It was really during my tour in the Air Force.
Okay.
Um, it's kind of a unique situation. There was three of my friends and we were all in the Air Force. Kind of had the same calling at the same time. We started, out of the blue, we would, discuss religious items. And we got a Bible and started studying and talking and questioning and throwing out answers and throwing out thoughts. And that led us to start going to church. And we started attending Assembly of God's Church.
Uh-huh.
And of course, that was in Hawaii. And
Yeah,
it's
can
a
you
little
explain
different.
that before
Yeah.
before we talk more about your faith? Let's talk about the fact you were stationed in Hawaii.
Yeah, that was a luxury that I learned to really appreciate. Yeah,
Yeah, so you were in the Air Force. So what was the thing you did then?
I was communications. Uh, they long haul, point to point type communications for the military, and it's um, we were stationed in Hawaii, but we had stations all around the world. Were dealing with and correcting, and when the lines failed, responsible getting them back up and
Yeah,
getting
so
them.
how does that work? I mean, maybe I don't want to be too technical,
Mm-hmm.
but is that like a ham radio type thing, or was that like how does it broadcast?
It was we had the basic part of the start of the machine was like teletype, electronic
Oh,
teletype,
okay.
much like we have now, but it went out on wires at that time.
Oh,
That
okay.
was before digital came in. We were analog, um, and we ran wires to a receiver site and a transmitter site, which big antennas,
Okay.
which would
So
put the
were you
waves up in the air.
communicating to other bases, or were you communicating to ships, or maybe you can't tell me?
No, I can take it. Nothing I did was a secret. We didn't really communicate with ships, but we did communicate within Navy.
Oh, okay.
But most of it was military, Air Force, and bases. Yeah.
So going back to that group of friends, it was they were all in communication, or
No, not at all. We were all in the same barracks,
okay.
but we had different MOSs.
Uh-huh.
That's different job titles. But we had a lot of similarities together, ran around together.
Well, I can't help but think of iron sharpens iron. One of my favorite scriptures, Proverbs 27:17. So it sounded like you were just in the right environment with those other guys that you guys fed off each other as you guys were reading God's word. And
That's exactly right. Yeah, we did feed off each other and encourage each other, and we would search and had a question. We would bring it up, and say, hey, what do you think about this?
yeah.
We were all beginners, learners, so a lot of ideas, and a lot of reading and searching went on that way.
Yeah. Well, that's really, really great. So, as far as after, you accepted Christ, what were things that maybe you noticed that you started changing, maybe practices or things that your life, you started to see things a little differently? And what were some of the behaviors, I guess, that you changed after that?
Well, it's I guess became more thoughtful, more gracious. Some of the things that I did before I didn't do anymore. It's just some of the wild things, and tamed down and enjoyed more uh, of the common things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some things that, was there any certain Bible passages, and not that you may remember every verse, but were there certain stories in the Bible that just kind of spoke at you during that time?
Yeah. Well, at that time, it was just, no, not really. It's everything. Just was
Yeah.
was speaking out. Nothing.
So, as far as you being stationed in Hawaii, I know we talked before that you were there for about 3 years and being in Hawaii. And then what happened after the Hawaii? Did you still have contact with your friends, and did you have them for that long for the 3 years you were there, or did you guys go your separate way?
Well, no,
Or
we went our separate ways. That's yeah. Um, After I got out, I came home to Parkersburg, um, and started back to school, finished my college, but no, really lost contact
yeah.
with my military friends. Yeah,
So, how did you meet your wife?
that's interesting story. We met at college. We had an accounting class, and it's kind of interesting there. She was a banker, was a banker, and they were had an accounting class, and her business accounting class was canceled, so they kind of merged into to our group, and it was kind of met her, and it was had my first sight. She was
You knew she was the one
she
for
was
you
the
right
one.
away?
Yeah, just walked in that evening, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So, how old were you when you met her?
I was 23, and yeah, she's 4 years younger than me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's neat.
hmm
So, God just closed that
God just
class
closed
so
the door.
she could
Yeah,
be there,
yeah. I feel that way. I
Yeah.
really do think because her class was closed, and I was in a night class because I couldn't get into a day class. Uh, so it's amazing how that happened.
Yeah. So after you finished college, and I'm assuming you got married at some point.
I did get married. Yeah, we were say we met in '76 and were married in '77.
Okay.
Yeah, we went to North Parkersburg Baptist Church.
Okay.
That's, as a matter of fact, that's where we were baptized. Both of us were baptized. And then we were married uh, in '77. And so, yeah, that's.
And then as far as your employment, where did you start working at after coming back from Air Force and graduating?
I was a Kroger employee. I worked for Kroger before I went in,
Okay.
um, and due to the military enlistment, and I guess I'm going to say one of the low points in my life was I was drafted,
Yeah.
and I think you guys remember the draft. So I used that to explore the different branches, the Army and Navy and the Air Force. And I chose the Air Force because it had better educational abilities. Uh,
So this was during the Vietnam War,
Correct. Yes.
and just to make sure I'm understanding.
Yeah.
So finding out you got drafted is
Yeah.
like, oh,
I
now,
was going to do military some fashion or another. Yeah.
yeah,
And rather than just spend a year and a half in the military and get out, I looked at it and saw the educational benefits of going into the Air Force. And while I was in the Air Force, I also attended college classes.
yeah,
But Air Force was my training time. And I got an early out to go back to school from the Air Force. Of course, the military paid for a lot of my education after that at
yeah.
GI
So
Bill.
I could definitely see that being a low where it's like a valley where, oh no, I'm drafted. I'm sure your family was concerned.
hmm
At that time, you didn't know Beverly, right? Because that was after that.
That's correct.
But to have that low hit, even when you're a single guy, and just not know what the war is going to be like,
Yeah.
and where you're going to be put.
Yeah. At that time, it was a pretty radical, rough time for uh, the government. That was the age of the hippies, and being in the military wasn't really a popular
Yeah.
thing at that time.
And so I'm was that kind of more later on the verge of Vietnam ending, or was that in the middle of it?
It was on the tail end of
Okay.
Vietnam ending. It wasn't when in '75 it was really toned down. It really settled down. We were actually starting to get some of the POWs, prisoner of wars, were coming back. So it by the time I exited the military, the war was really quieter than it had been.
But what I thought was cool, and the stuff that you prepared that was a valley, but then it turned to be a high, right?
hmm
So that was a positive, and that's what
Yeah.
it kind of helped you get your education and get most of that completed. Then you're just able to finish it up here when you came back.
Yes.
So it really
That'd be
kind of, and
a
like
good
you
thing.
said, with your friends that you had that
Mm-hmm.
kind of helped you bring you to the Lord and learn more about God. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really kind of neat.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say without being in the Air Force, hard to tell. Those things were unique to my experiences there, and
Yeah.
very happy with
So
them.
how many kids did you guys end up having?
We have two. We have our oldest is daughter Heather, and our youngest is John. He's They're both in the area. Live in Washington County, and both of them have three kids, two boys and a girl, each one of them, doing well,
Good.
growing, and keeping me busy. Yeah, busy. Six grandchildren keeps me a whole lot busier than two children.
Yeah, yeah. You probably wonder how you did it
Yeah,
when you were,
absolutely. It's a good thing I'm not working anymore. That's for sure. Yeah,
well, you kind of are. You kind of are.
yeah,
We'll have
yeah.
to talk a little bit about that.
Hmm.
But, you still do, you guys still keep a busy schedule.
Yes, we do. Yeah,
Yeah.
we keep it busy.
Yeah. And so you travel to see your grandkids' games and everything. You try to do as much as you
Yes.
can.
Oh yeah. Now I'm able to do that. That I'm retired. It's uh, get to see a lot of them.
Yeah. So how many years did you work at Kroger's for?
48.
Uh,
I started at a very young, early age, and then let's say the military uh, got a hold of me, and Kroger guaranteed my job while I was in the military. So
oh,
when I came back, I had a job. And if the pay was very good and educational benefits were good. So I continued with Kroger, went to school, and
oh, so they helped you with your
hmm
education part too,
hmm
not just your pay, but
hmm
that's good. And so you started just as a regular employee and just kind of worked your way all the way up,
all
huh?
the way up to
Yeah.
I ended up
And then how many stores you were the manager of?
uh, 3, 4, 5, 8.
Eight.
8. Yeah,
Okay.
I ended up managing 8 different
Yeah.
Kroger stores, all
And
in the
then you
area.
helped assist even at different times for other stores, didn't
That's
you?
correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you've been, how many different places have you been? Because I know you've been quite a few different places as far as a little
Um,
bit around the area.
yeah, I'd say from Elkins, West Virginia, to Gallipolis, to Marietta,
Yeah.
Parkersburg, Indiana. Yeah.
I want to ask you this question. It might be a little different than what I prepared you for, but just thinking through it, how's your faith helped you with working as a manager, dealing with employees or customers
hmm
maybe in complaints? How has your faith played a role in how you treated people over the years?
There was always a thought of, you know, am I treating people the way I'd want to be treated? Kind of, is it fair, or uh, do I have to be extreme? But basically, it falls back on an eye for an eye type of thing. How treat them the way that I think I would want to be treated in a certain situation.
Yeah.
That helped in a lot of areas. It's a lot of
Really,
different things you run into.
it makes me think of your Sunday school teacher and how her model and her way of doing things
Yes,
probably
absolutely,
made a big different, and you
absolutely.
utilized her way of doing things
Yeah,
probably.
absolutely a good thought. Yeah, sure is.
And I'm sure it's a challenge though, working with people in an environment like that where you're managing a lot of employees.
Yes.
You haven't had to fire anybody, have
Well,
you?
unfortunately, that's part of the job too. And
Yeah,
um, we we have Kroger is an organized union affiliate, and there were some strikes, and of course, there's kind of hard feelings during strikes. And
yeah,
uh, I'd say again, with a temperament, that was uh, able to deal with that probably a little better than normal.
yeah. No, I think that's very important. That you know, like you're sharing, you saw your faith as being an extension of who you were. So it wasn't like you just go to church.
Hmm.
You try to live out your faith in your work environment too.
Yeah.
And that can that's really where the challenge is
Hmm.
sometimes is showing people Christ when it's not easy.
Yeah. I think that's a large part of it. Is that, uh, you when people have different ideas, they're not enemies.
Yeah,
They're just people with different ideas.
yeah,
And uh, golly, it's a shame that thought processes can change people so much. Yep.
You talked a little bit about the valley of being drafted, but was there any other valleys in your life that made, was hard or difficult or just a struggle?
Well, yeah, of course, with everybody has valleys. One of them that comes to mind shortly after that, I was looking forward to going to Marshall University to, that was in my plans. That was in my network. And that didn't work out. I couldn't transfer with Kroger. And of course, I was married and I had a children, so I had to support them. I couldn't just not go. So that was kind of a downfall. That was kind of a sad point. But that also turned to be one of my mountaintops too, because I ventured to Marietta College and found out what they had to offer, and so I was able to attend Marietta and graduate from college, and do it locally, and it tied together very well with my work life.
Yeah. And so that was able to keep you in the area, and you didn't have to go away from your family. But was your family going to try to move to Marshall if they could, if their store was open? I guess is what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. We were going to move, and we had really looked at apartments and had one under contract, really, an apartment to move down there.
Oh, so you guys were pretty serious.
We were pretty serious, yeah. We were. That was our plans. That's what we were going to do.
So no wonder it was discouraging when that door closed, and then you're left with like, what do I do now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you were able to not get discouraged, but you kept looking for the opportunity to, okay, what is next?
Yeah. That's the way you look at it. Was that was not. That was not the path I was going to follow. Was opportunities were coming. It opened up more doors, and then it closed for me. I appreciate that. Yeah.
As we talked about, I know some of those were the same, were valleys and mountaintops, but is there any other mountaintops that you'd like to share about today, that things that you just saw God work, or, things happen that are just like this has to be God, or just a great experience that you're like, wow, this is really neat?
Yeah. Well, it's, I'm going to say with Porterfield is a big part of that. I've been associated with Porterfield for many years.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, part of that, I wasn't active with the church. I was busy elsewhere and not getting to enjoy it. But through my friends that were here, and I know they were praying for me.
Yeah.
And I know they were caring for me, and a lot of them are still here. A lot. So that's that's really the mountaintop that I really appreciate.
And how did you becoming a deacon? Did that surprise you, or were you excited? Were you a little nervous about that opportunity, or how did that affect you when you were asked to be a deacon? Was that?
It really surprised me. Jim called and we talked about it, but as the things worked out, I admit I was totally surprised. But I had also been thinking about things that I could do to be more active with the church, that I could do more.
Yeah.
And that kind of opened up at the same time. And I was thinking of that, and I said, "Oh, wow!" So that was a wide open door that I was wanting to run through.
Yeah, and I want to thank you, because it was really kind of neat to see your heart and willingness to just get involved with the prison ministry. And what made you decide to think about that?
It's part of it was history. I know of other successful prison ministries that I heard stories about that how receptive the inmates were, how they needed it, and how they appreciated it. I thought that would be a good place for me to really work and to show and hopefully give them some encouragement.
Yeah.
To go along with your leadership in the program. So, that was a timely thing for me.
Yeah, as I told you before, I appreciate you being a chauffeur, driving me, and give me time to think. But plus, it's probably safer you drive than me. But it has
Yeah.
been a great experience just to see those guys kind of, just be and listening and paying attention and taking notes. And a lot of times we treat those as, just like you said about working at Kroger's, treat people as I'd want to be treated. And,
Hmm.
yeah, a lot of times we don't know people's story. We
No,
don't know what they've been through.
no, and that's at the press manager when you were speaking, I was really uh, taken by how they listened to every word you had, how they interacted, and they were just absorbing
Yeah.
what you were teaching them, and you could just see it. It was as plain as day that how effective that was. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and thank you for going with me. And
Hmm.
I'm excited about what we can do more there. And it was neat to see that the chaplain goes to our church, and he approached me, and it was neat to see some of our other deacons start praying for that, and then
Hmm.
here God opens the door, and so it was really neat to be able to witness it, to be a part of it, and I'm just excited to see what God does. I'm so thankful for you and Bev coming to Porterfield, and then you guys help out as a host. I think that's tremendous that you guys are friendly faces for people to come in and see. Have you enjoyed doing that as
Oh,
far as helping out in that area?
absolutely. Yeah, that's say being active and say it's helping and
Yeah.
seeing the friendly face and being a friendly face that people see is
Yes.
yeah, it's remarkable how that
No, I
makes you
think
feel.
I always enjoy walking in and seeing you guys do that because I know that you guys, show the joy of your love for
Hmm.
people and your love for God, and I think that's really really good. Um, Another thing I wanted to talk to you about was the fact that with your military background, and thank you for your service for your country or for our country, but um, you know what were some of the lessons that you learned outside of just your friends, but just the military aspect? That there things that just being in the military taught you, or lessons that you saw yourself kind of growing
Hmm.
in, or
Uh, y- yeah, there were yeah a lot of lessons, organization and respect. Yeah, it's not only respect for individuals, but respect for the country and respect for the flag, and seeing uh, people, men, boys, girls from all different walks of life, with a common interest, and um, being part of that.
yeah.
Yeah, that was.
So you mentioned Porterfield. I know it's been you've really enjoyed it and been a part of it. Has there been things that have stood out to you that makes you enjoy Porterfield and being here at this church? Whether it's your Sunday school class or other things that you've really enjoyed being here. What were some of the things that stood out or stands out?
It started out way back when Judy and Ron had the puppets.
Uh huh.
My daughter was small and
Oh
Tom was
wow, way
small.
back.
Way back. That's how far back it goes. And Judy and Ron and
Hmm.
Trish, they were all part of the life and part of bringing us up. And that's part of the group of people I'm saying that I know they were praying for us. I know they were thinking about us because I'd see them and they'd tell me that. Yeah. Um, so yeah, it's the folks like that, the faithful
Yeah.
people, and you just can't describe it. It's just you can depend on them if you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they have your back. They're praying for you and keeping you.
Well, I appreciate the fact that you noticed that, and that's what I think special about this church is we have a lot of people, even like you and Bev, that extend that out. That we have people that care about other people, and I think that's really the important ingredient in what makes us a special church is that we got people like that pray for people, and I know you do the same for anybody around you now. So
Yep. That's yeah, it's been a blessing. It really has been.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what your new job is? Because I think you explained it in a unique way. You want to explain the store first, and then tell them what your role in the store is.
You get memory there. Yeah, well, I've gone uh, from a paid job to what I call a CEO, but is carry everything out. And I have a new world boss. That's my wife. And, no, I love it. That's, as a matter of fact, that's where I was today, helping her with the store. And
Yeah.
there's always something to do. As you will know, there's always something to do. And
So for somebody that doesn't know about the store, can you explain what the store is
thank you.
and the name of the store?
Yeah, well, it's called Neff's Country Loft. It's been there. We opened 32 years ago. Uh, really didn't know too much about what we were getting into. But it's in 32 years we've learned a lot. It's a quilt store, and she does keep us active. We on shows, selling shows and buying shows, and meeting people, and going out. And, yeah, it's
And then
been quite an
Bev's mom
experience.
helps out too, right? And you have some employees. And
Beverly's mom is 86 years old, works a couple days a week, um, faithful. She um, loves the people. Yeah, she's a gold standard for Neff's Country Laws. Yes, be really proud of her. Yeah.
yeah, well, that's neat. Is there any other funny stories that you would like to share that maybe, just like the CEO? I love that one. But is there any other things that maybe happened over your course of life that stand out to you?
Well, there's one. No, there's I have several, but there's one in particular. Uh, my wife and I enjoy a pontoon boat. Yeah, we like to go on the river and relax. One afternoon, we were on the river floating in our pontoon boat. The engine quit.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. And to top that off, there was a barge
Oh,
coming
no.
directly at us. Uh, I taught Beverly how to use a paddle that day. Paddling a pontoon boat. It's not like paddling a canoe. So.
No, it probably doesn't want to cooperate because it's not built for
It
that,
was
right?
a pretty hectic few minutes,
Yeah.
but after we had to laugh at ourselves for the situation we were in.
Did the barge notice you, or they did? Did they?
They probably did, but we were safely out of the way. But
You had a little giddy up in your step.
we got a lot of getting it that day. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And that's yeah, that's the day that every now and then Beverly will bring that up and remind me of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's always been. So how many years ago was that?
that would have been 8 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 8 years ago.
Yeah. And that's one of the cool things about being married is that you have moments like that where you can laugh about it. And thankfully, you guys didn't get injured. But
No,
some of the
not at all.
stories
Yeah,
that,
it it could have been bad, but
Yeah.
it turned out to be okay and
yeah, it's something to remember.
something to remember.
And
Yeah.
it's those moments that only you share because you were there. So,
Mhm.
yeah. One thing I wanted to ask too is there been, in your life, some things that you just prayed about that you saw God answer, that you're like, I've been really praying for that, and God opened doors here, and God gave me an opportunity, or God worked this out, or, you know.
There's been there's been several, and some of them evolve around the work life and uh, situations and issues there that we were talking about employees and I can one in particular comes to mind that was had issues and had problems and I spent a lot of days praying trying to figure out how we were going to work through that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy, but God got us through it and got us through it okay. Yeah.
I think that's really cool because a lot of times, we don't think about the impact we could have with our employees or people we work with, outside of church.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we compartmentalize, our faith and what we do, but, you praying for somebody and caring about them in that way.
Yeah, it's that was, one in particular, that case was, uh, there could have been an easy answer, but it was not the best answer.
Yeah.
A quick answer wasn't the best. So it took some work to get through that. Took Lord to lead us through it.
Yeah. Um, Another question I have is, if people could take something from your life, or a lesson, or just what do you want people to know about you? What would be some things you'd like to pass on to those to remember you by, or just know this was important to you? Or
I guess probably I think the one thing is that through all the hardships, through everything, that I was able to become an overcomer. That I lost faith for a while, or my faith was weakened for a while, and uh, but it's come back. It's come back stronger than ever. Uh, and I think just an overcomer, learn to love the world again, learn to love people again, and to get Jesus back in my life.
that's awesome. Really proud of you for sharing that. And I think what's cool is it sounds like, it was a time in your life where you just kind of stepped away, and then God brought you right back. And so it's cool and that happened. Was that later? Like how old were you when you kind of felt like you drifted?
Well, it was later in life. It's 10, 12 years ago that um, through life's things, the challenges were immense. And, uh, I couldn't see the end of the road, per se. Not. Uh, it just wasn't a happy time.
Yeah.
In my life, trying to figure things out. My marriage was fine. Matter of fact, that's what helped bring me through the problem. Um, so yeah, we had some struggles. I had some struggles personally, but worked through them,
Sounds
prayed
like
through them.
Bev was patient for you.
She was an angel. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's why you're the CEO
You're exactly right here.
Hey,
Yeah, absolutely.
well, and we can't leave here without talking about some barbecue, right?
Absolutely.
You love doing that, right? Is
Yes,
that
I do. We're going to have a big barbecue. It's just when the weather breaks. We talked about barbecue and we get 4 inches of snow yesterday.
yeah.
But yeah, we're going to. I love firing up the grill and smoking the grill. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to
So
that here this
what's
year.
your favorite thing to cook or prepare?
Um, I like doing some smoking, smoked ribs and smoked brisket. And,
You're making me hungry now.
really anything off the grill is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hamburgers and hot dogs and steaks.
Yeah. Do you do much with chicken or
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, pork and
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, pork butts. That's some of the best barbecue in town.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Do you make your own sauce or oh do
Absolutely.
you? Oh,
Absolutely.
okay. He's serious.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Well, that's great. Do you have any other hobbies that you like doing that maybe people don't know about?
Um, I tinker with woodworking a little
Oh,
bit.
do
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. Just a little bit. I enjoy working with the lathe and
Uh-huh.
making pins.
Okay.
Yeah, a little woodworking tasks like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, woodcrafters notice me. They see me from time to time.
They get your business
Yeah,
every
they
once
see
in a
me from
while.
time to time. Yeah.
No, that's great. I think that's a great hobby to have.
Hmm.
And I've thought about that a little bit with Jesus being a carpenter and working with wood, and just a symbol of that, just how that, you know, just handling wood, putting it together, making something out of it. It's just, I think that's got to be unique, doesn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Very unique. That's uh, one of the things I enjoy doing. When uh, my grandchildren were playing football for Eastern High School, and they wanted to do something for their coaches, so I got my grandchildren together and we made them pins,
Oh,
football pins. Yeah,
neat.
yeah. And they, that involved my grandkids in something they really wanted to do, and yeah, they were proud to give it to their coaches. And,
I'm sure that's special. And what
yeah,
is it? What does it feel like to be a grandpa?
nothing like it. Yeah, there's this uh, the enjoyment's there and the heartaches there too, but you enjoy. Um, and something about grandkids. I have 6 of them. Missing out on things that they're doing, uh, it's hard. You just want to be part of it. Want to show them you love them. Want to show them that you're there, and want them to be able to look up to what you're doing. Yeah.
Kind of makes you, I'm sure it makes you kind of think of God in a new light too, being
No,
a grandpa
absolutely.
and a dad, but I think even a grandparent's even another level, isn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah. Because you don't, I know as a parent, sometimes I can worry about what they're doing too much and not tell them enough of how much I love them and care
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. This is something that when your grandchildren come in and hug you and say they love you, that's yeah, it's
Special.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you, Dan, for Stan, for taking this time to sit with us and talk. And I just appreciate you and Beverly being here. And I'm just thankful that you guys are a part of this church.
We're tickled to death that God allows us to be here.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Ed.